Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Just hearing the breaking news that the federal government has indeed approved the extradition of Abba Kyari, that's the suspended quote-unquote super cop, to face charges in America. This, it's been on the table, so to speak, but there was discussion about whether indeed he would be, released for extradition. So we have the breaking news now that the federal government has approved the extradition of Abba Kyari, and our correspondent Celestina Iria is in Abuja, and she joins us on Zoom to find out a bit more about this. Good morning, Celestina.
Good morning.
Okay, so what can you tell us? This is the news. We knew that it was being considered, but then this morning it appears that indeed the official word came through that the federal government is indeed on the same page with the U.S. in that regard.
Yes, after several months of back and forth, and well-meaning Nigerians calling for the suspended DCP to be extradited to the U.S. to answer to whatever charge you have against him, the federal government has made its first announcement like a possible extradition. Suspended for his alleged involvement with Ramon Abbas, who's probably known as a Hushpuppi, in wire fraud. And also now we know for a fact that he's with the NDLEA on allegations of drug-related offenses that has to do with him being involved in a clientele syndicate. But yesterday, an application was filed at the Federal High Court by the AGF, and it was filed to the Chief Judge of the court. And we believe that the AGF placed him on notice so he can come and make a deposition as to why he should or should not be extradited to the U.S.
Okay. Well, if I understood you properly there, is it that it isn't quite a done deal in that there's that legal process that you just, spoke of, that another party can come and, say why indeed action should not continue as proposed? So in satisfying all righteousness, is there still a step before we can say the federal government has indeed released Kyari for extradition to the U.S.?
Well, extradition is a process, and it has just been filed. And normally, it can also come as an ex parte motion, but this, we are quite aware that it was a motion. So Abba Kyari was possibly put on notice. So he has a right to come to court, and also if he has a deposition to make, he can make that value. And there'll be news that the federal government is trying to play pranks with him going to the U.S. to face charges. That's why the NDLEA brought the charge of him involved in any drug syndicate. But for a fact now, we know that that is not the case. And also, if the NDLEA has any case against him, has to do with their investigation, it has to be on hold because the AGF is the supervisory prosecuting officer. So whatever investigation the NDLEA has carried out, they will have to pass it. Because right now, there is no pending charge as to that of his involvement with Hushpuppi, and also any charge against him by the NDLEA, because nothing has been filed. What we have at the Federal High Court is him challenging his treatment by the NDLEA, which comes in form of his fundamental rights enforcement suit. So now the extradition process is before the Federal High Court, and we'll know what happens afterwards.
Okay, just looking at some of the more serious charges. There's 3 counts in America, according to one of the newspapers this morning. On the one hand, conspiracy to commit wire fraud in violation of U.S. law. That is reported to carry a penalty of up to 20 years in jail. Then there's the second count of conspiracy to commit money laundering, indeed, again, in violation of U.S. law, and that is another 20 years, possibility. And then count 3, aggravated identity theft and aiding and abetting. So again, that is that carries an imprisonment term of up to 2 years. Do you have any idea? Any explanatory notes on that third charge of aggravated identity theft?
This is contained in the letter sent to the AGF, the request sent by the diplomatic representative of the U.S. Embassy in Abuja. It was sent to the AGF, all in their affidavits in support of the application that Mr. Kyari is not being prosecuted. He's just going to surrender to the US and answer to whatever allegations they have against him. And he also made it known in the affidavits that whatever charges they have against him has to do with what they brought before the AGF as to his extradition. No other charges included, and all based on the investigation as to his involvement with Hushpuppi and nothing more.
Indeed.
Also, we know the terms these offenses, the United States Section Code 2020, and minimum of 2 years for the identity theft.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much, Celestina. At least for it's a breaking news item. There you are in Abuja, and you're sort of cluing us in. No doubt, throughout the rest of the day, we'll be hearing more about this on our TVC news programs. Thank you very much, Celestina, for joining us. Okay, so there you have it. Our man, if you get my meaning, actually, okay, our woman in Abuja, but they say it's a newsman. she's a press man. Okay, but it is a serious affair, because I think there are also issues of credibility, and that the federal government is showing that it is not resisting a due process and cooperation with other jurisdictions where necessary. This seems to be one of the planks that one can grab hold of. This it doesn't do our reputation any harm. I suppose you like to call in and let us know what you think on this breaking news item. Yesterday, it was the federal government, had started the process, but this morning it's more concrete in the sense that indeed the federal government has approved. When federal government has approved, most of the blocks have been cleared out of the way. There were all sorts of talks, on the internet especially, as to why this day might not come. But it looks like the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is it's looking at things differently, and especially as we're moving towards the close of the president's administration. I suppose, actions that could have been thought to be politically one kind, if you get my meaning, can now be taken a bit more easily. So that's to one side. Call in and let us know what you feel about that. But on the other hand, the other thing we wanted to talk about today was this whole matter of the fuel crisis, the PMS. Is that premium motor spirit or petroleum motor spirit? So, there's that. We were promised, as you recall, by eminent people in the sector, including the GMD of NNPC, that, it's going to be a week, maybe a week and a half, worst case scenario, 2 weeks, but you and I are witness to the economic mess that we're in. And I hope it doesn't get worse with the whole situation going on in Ukraine. But Mr. Ade in the UK, I should say Chief Ade in the UK, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Yori. God bless you, sir.
So, the news.
Regarding the breaking news.
Yeah.
Please, let me tell you one thing. This is a game work. It's a cabal plan. They know that if the drug allegation goes to court, Abba Kyari will name names of those who are the beneficiary of whatever might be alleged that he has been doing criminally. Please, he will name names. So, as a cover-up, they are now bringing this case to send him to America to answer case of whatever money laundering or whatever. It's a cover-up. Can you imagine?
Well, Mr. Ade, I hear you, but you've immediately put the government in a suspicious corner. Why would you do that? Is it going back through the precedents that we have in such matters? Is it a matter of trust deficit? I mean, couldn't we look at it from the point of view that the government was always going to do the right thing but would not jump to do anything involuntarily?
Yeah. We should think that way. If we have history about this government, about that, this is a pure cover-up. You will see that it comes out. You know, we here in diaspora, we have access to many information. This is a cover-up. Abba Kyari will name names, and they don't want him to name names. Of those who, even most of them, they are retired, who are beneficiary of this alleged crime he has been committing.
Okay.
So they are sending him to America now. It's a cabal work. It's a cabal. Many things will be revealed in 2023 when the new government takes.
All right.
Go and mark it. You will see many secrets come out about criminality or crime or corruption that has been going on, most especially through this Attorney General.
All right.
See,
all right.
Write it down.
Thank you very
2023 after election.
All right then.
God bless you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Ade in the UK. Of course, it goes without saying that opinions of viewers and contributors are not necessarily those of the program or the station, but the conspiracy theory that Mr. Ade was putting forward is not strange to most observers. In fact, the whole speculation that it could be because Mr. Abba Kyari, according to Mr. Ade, would name names. There had been that kind of talk. He himself was alleged to have said something similar back in the day when all of this broke, that, you know, I will sing. I don't know if he said it in exactly those words, but I will sing like a canary if they do. But you see, social media, you can't believe all that you read on social media. He might never have said anything like that, but that's the situation we have. There are conspiracy theories. Mr. Ade believes that, well, this is not so much doing the right thing as saving your own skin. That's his perspective. Reverend Dominic, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Chief. Yori, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yori, I agree with my brother outside Nigeria 100%.
Ade?
Ade, Yori, please, let's ask this question. Drug challenges, drug crime, the drug and the money laundering, which is worse crime? This is a question to SFF. The drug and the money laundering, which is worse crime? If we have pride, couldn't you have deal with this young man here to tell the international community that we don't condone nonsense? Why should it be now? Remember, this man was on suspension. They didn't remember they will extradite him. He was still doing official work until fate cut him off. So they want to cover up their own there and take him to prison in America so he can go to prison there and silence him there.
Okay. So
there's no way he will not go to prison. Why not we deal with this issue, this insult here? Okay. And you know, we are on edge. You're an international person, I'm a preacher. We are on edge with the man on drug with cut pants hand down to take a state to court. If you remember the story of Ibori, one of his lawyers went to prison with him because he brought frivolous, injunction in London. They said it's insult. Why should a man with cut pants down should take a government to court and we're entertaining it? They want to cover up.
All right.
If they don't want to cover up, we should deal with drug issue. It's more serious offense against us. If it is fraudulent here, it was against Nigeria. We should protect our own and deal with him here and tell the international community we are nation of discipline. They want to cover up. Let him go to America and go to prison. The prison in America is like my palace, my sitting room here.
All right, thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. Again, another contributor, saying that it's not exactly what it might seem. Yet another conspiracy theory. This, no doubt, must be pointing to the deficit in trust between the government and, the citizenry, if indeed we are to take that point of view. Even Reverend Dominic seemed to be conflicted that in the sense that, ordinarily you might want to take care of your own and not give them up easily for frivolous affairs. But in this case, according to Reverend Dominic's and Mr. Ade's theory, it's nothing like that. It's self-serving. So we'll see, but in any case, no two cases are the same, we are told. And he needs his day in court so that the court shall pronounce. Because, look, it's not outside of the realm of possibility. He might be declared not guilty. I mean, that's what the court does. It either says guilty or not guilty. So it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen how the courts will look at the whole Abba Kyari case. And I'm happy that a barrister has called in. Barrister Joseph, good morning, sir.
Yep, good morning.
Okay. Your take, please.
Yeah, I've been following up on this case on the news. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. And what I really find rather annoying about this matter is this. A case has been brought before the courts in Nigeria here. Are you with me?
I can hear you.
And the Nigerian courts, already have the jurisdiction to handle this case because Abba Kyari is a Nigerian. These offenses were committed within Nigeria under the laws, already against the laws of the NDLEA Act and even the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Abba Kyari is in trial. We're at the level of bail right now. The bail has not even been approved because a sister court granted a similar application extending the time of the NDLEA to investigate this matter. Now, I happened to hear on the news today that federal government has approved the extradition of Abba Kyari to the United States of America. Sounds very absurd to me. Absurd in the sense that I do not see a situation where an American commits an offense contrary to the American laws in America, for instance, or in US, for instance. Then you come around and say, okay, we want to extradite this American because these offenses have to touch on some laws that are against our own country too, in Nigeria here. And then we want him to be tried here. I see that as, it's not logical to me.
All right.
Even by the laws, it is not logical. Why not allow us to try those offenses here, come to a conclusion, then if you have any other offense against him that it's against your own offense in your own land, then you say, okay, haven't been done with your own side now. Bring him over to our own country and we will try him in line with the offenses or the laws in our country that he has broken.
Okay, Barrister Joseph, I hear you, but how about the aspect of this conversation where if there are friendly relations between countries, these extradition policies,
relationship right now, based on this extradition order that has been approved, unfortunately approved by the federal government, I feel, and I told the line of Mr. Ade, who called all the way from London, that it's a conspiracy theory. He's just trying to make him escape.
Okay.
From proper and full trial. This trial has not even gone anywhere.
All right. Because we have an example.
It's too premature. The extradition order is too premature. Don't forget that we are dealing with a cartel. They have connections all over the world, globally.
Okay, so you being a legal person, what you would have had it that the investigation should continue and we deal with it here, and any remnants following that process, then we can begin to consider, sending him back to the U.S. So there you go. So far, there are going to be very many opinions on this, I imagine. But I'm happy that Joseph, a legal practitioner, called in and he's told us his misgivings about the whole matter, and he's put some credence on both Mr. Ade in the UK and Reverend Dominic's positions here. I thought they were trying to get. Okay, yeah, well, we understand that we lost connection with that legal practitioner, but we did get what he's saying. So, I mean, this is not the first time we've heard of this kind of a thing, by which I mean both Nigeria and another country being interested, having a judicial interest in a person. One time, Governor James Ibori, he immediately comes to mind. The situation, his legal situation here was very radically different from the legal situation he found himself in the UK. You'll recall that he was discharged of every one of the very many counts. I think there were over 100, and he was discharged and acquitted on every single one of them. But then in the UK, it was different. He served time in the UK. He's back. He came back, and I don't know if there were any other aspects, if he had to serve more time in Nigeria. But long story short, what couldn't be done in Nigeria was done in the UK, And Mr. James Ibori, Chief James Ibori, is back in the country, and he's not just back in the country, he's quite influential in his own area. In fact, I hear that you can't even think of a governor in Delta without touching base with him. Mazi Okorafor, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sir Yori.
Yeah.
You see, Sir Yori, what we are discussing, whether money laundering or NDLEA, everything, this is tagged under criminal, under the Nigerian law. But the question is this: we are lucky that Trump is not in the office. If he's Trump enough, Trump, everything is sharp anyway, any part of the country. He doesn't play with anything that has to do with criminology. But the question is this: when NDLEA told us about this issue, NDLEA, when they prepare people, they will keep the drugs by the side and put cardboard paper with the number of how much it's in. But Abba Kyari, what happened? Did they show us? They didn't show us. So, to me, question mark is on that issue because they didn't put what they were doing to others to Abba Kyari. Are we saying that this one is a special case? It's a special case. Everything is criminal. Whether you are laundering or you are not laundering is criminal. Now, the question is this. The NDA at this show, the young man, if they said, my friend, come to America, go to America and answer your question. Because when you enjoy it, everybody can call you a saint. You can go there and complete your sainthood. But the question is this. If the federal government, whether Minister of Justice or anything, decide to keep this one as a special issue, pending, when subsequent one will come, we saw what happened to Evans, how Evans' issue was celebrated. Every day, court Evans. What happens to this one? Is it not the same thing? Is there any difference? Everything that happened in Nigeria, I think there's a special people that government handle special way. Like we're talking about fuel. When you go to fuel, come to Aaron Chukwuabi and say, fuel has been selling for 200 something for over 10 years, 8 years. We didn't saw they're saying 200 something, the people are just complaining. But the question is, Abba Kyari, if they say extradition, federal government release and let him go there and sign. Okay.
All right.
At least it will bring credibility to Nigerian judicial system. If we decide to do a special one, because it's concerned about Kyari, it means NDLEA and the federal government, they are not doing the needful. They are playing partiality. They should do the needful. Go, take him, let him answer for the case. The lawyers are there. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Lagos.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mazi. Of course, I don't imagine that the Attorney General, Madam who was asking the court to okay the request, I don't think that he will send him being a lawyer himself, he wouldn't send Abba Kyari, or at least propose the sending of Abba Kyari, if all his, all the legal infrastructure was not there for Buhari, I beg your pardon, for Kyari to get the defense that he deserves, because lawyers tell us that a man is innocent until proven guilty in an appropriate court of law. So we'll wait to see how all of that goes. There's going to be much more about this story, I'm sure. Oh dear. Okay, Benga has called in. Let me slip in Benga's call. Good morning, Benga in Abuja.
Good day, Mr. Yori. My name is Benga.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
See, this society we are is a very funny society, so to say.
How do you mean?
If it's good to write. How do I mean? When the issue of this NDLEA came in, they were told that they brought that in so as to prevent the man from going abroad. There is a cover-up that will prevent that they cook up. There is an arrangement that will keep him permanently in Nigeria. That was the reason why they brought the NDLEA something. That they want to send him to US. That is because it's a northerner, and that if they allow him to go, he will expose some things. That they want to prevent him going. That they cook up that NDLEA. Now that the government has approved it, because before they were pushing the what they call it, the Minister of Justice, that was covering her, that they didn't want to probe him because it's a northerner. And now that they are saying, okay, he should go now, you see it has turned around.
Yeah, but Benga, you have to agree that Benga, a lot of like everybody else this morning, this is your personal speculation on the state of affairs, especially that bit. Wait a minute. Especially that bit about him being a northerner. All Nigerians are equal. It doesn't matter whether it was a northerner or southerner, an easterner or whatever. You get my meaning. That bit you slipped in about because he was a northerner. All Nigerians are equal.
Yes, all Nigerians are equal, Mr. Yori. What I'm saying is that the twist of things now show that we in Nigeria, they can't please us. Without every move of the government, there's no trust in anything government does. Because now let me tell you something. If this man goes to US and is there for 30 years, the crime he has committed, I'm not a lawyer, he can still come back and answer for it, even in the next 50 years if he's alive. And Nigeria would not want to break a relationship with US because we have an agreement of extradition, crime for crime. So, but if Nigeria breaks it, it will be our own disadvantage because tomorrow it will be we that will need somebody to get extradited to Nigeria, and they will say no, we can't allow you because the other time we ask for somebody like this, they not do it.
Okay.
To me, the government has done the right thing. Let's forget about the conspiracy theory here and there. It will never end.
Okay. All right then.
It will never end.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Benga, for calling in. And I like that last sentence. The government has done the right thing. Although everybody still has commentary on the thing that has been done. And this goes back to what just about you and every caller this morning has said, the trust deficit. It looks like the citizenry is highly suspicious of any moves of the government. Yeah, and you said it. It's like there's no pleasing Nigerians. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Okay, as I was saying, we're going to hear more about this whole matter as we go along.